מרצה באוניברסיטת אוטווה בקנדה, מעריך כי דו-שיח בין ישראל לפולין על חוק השואה לא יניב פירות. הסיבה, התבטאויות אנטישמיות בלתי צפויות של אישי הממשל בוורשה. ההיסטוריון הפרופסור יאן גרבובסקי הוא מחברו של הספר החשוב ציד היהודים בהוצאת יד ושם. הספר מתעד אירועים שבהם שיתפו הפולנים פעולה עם פשעי הנאצים. השבוע הוזמן לישראל כדי להרצות על נושא זה לפני ניצולי שואה. ואנו הזמנו את הפרופסור גרבובסקי לשיחה באולפן הזה של רואים עולם. הנה. Good afternoon to you, Professor Jan Grabowski.
Good afternoon.
The title of your book, you know, I don't know how to define it. The Hunt for the Jews.
Well, as I mentioned, the reason for this particular title comes from German vocabulary. In German, original German, it's Judenjagd, and it's a phrase used by German police in their official reports to simply state what they did that particular day.
So you compare the Jews to animals? A hunt?
Well,
a hunt?
that was the expression used in official German language, and it percolated to different strata of various societies. There was a hunt, and Jews were treated as animals. I found another very troubling thing, which was the level of local complicity. Simply put, Germans would not have been able to be as efficient as they were if they did not have a degree of local assistance.
Now, you know that the Polish authority today, they object to the term the Polish nation is to blame for what happened. And you are talking about individuals.
We are not talking about individuals, we are talking about segments of the Polish society that took part in this process. And today in Poland, the ruling nationalists, they would like to say that if one Pole saved the Jew, or a Jew, the Polish nation saved the Jews. However, if a Pole murdered a Jew, they say it was a criminal exception. Well, I'm sorry, you cannot have these things at the same time.
Or would you define the present Polish government as a democracy?
As a professor of history, I can define democracy as a system, political system built upon independent three branches of government. The judiciary, the legislative, the executive. Unfortunately, for the last 2 years, we have seen destruction of independence of the judiciary, and therefore, in my mind, Poland can no longer be described as a fully democratic country.
Israel is eager to find some kind of a compromise over the new so-called Holocaust law. Do you think that such a dialogue between Israel and Poland will succeed, will reach some kind of compromise?
Well, you know, in order to have a dialogue, you have to have partners. And the problem is that Polish authorities, in terms of this particular area, are simply unpredictable.
There were Polish perpetrators, as there were Jewish perpetrators, as there were Russian perpetrators, as there were Ukrainian, not only German perpetrators.
Who would have guessed that Polish Prime Minister, enjoying his trip to Germany, will come up with Jewish murderers in the Holocaust, and the same day he will recognize and put flowers on the monument to the only Polish underground unit, Brygada Świętokrzyska of the underground nationalist army that actually collaborated with Nazi Germany. And this is also Prime Minister who publicly stated that pogrom of Kielce of 1946 was a communist provocation, which is simply false. So we are not dealing here with politicians who are predictable. So I don't know, I wish everybody good luck, but I don't know how far you can parley, how far you can have a dialogue with people who are bent upon a narrative which simply falsifies history.
So are you recommending the Israeli government not to open a dialogue because of the poor chances for success?
It is very difficult to believe the level of anti-Semitic narrative in official Polish media, what can be said, what can be written, what people can get away with in state media today. So before you open dialogue with people who are releasing forces, they released forces which they do not want or they cannot control. Before you open dialogue, you would like to give these people a chance to reflect upon their own history, upon their own behavior, upon their own anti-Semitism. It will be a very healthy exercise, not only for the Polish authorities, but for a part of Polish society too.
The new so-called Holocaust law, how will it affect the academia?
What I expect. I don't think this law, I hope and I think this law will never be applied. This law has to freeze people from doing things that we need to see done. This law, through its vague existence, will make certain that PhD, MA, graduate students in Poland won't touch these things. It will also make journalists like you in Poland think twice or thrice before asking delicate questions about these issues.
You describe Poland as a, well, what can I say, a dictatorship.
It is no longer a democracy, it is navigating definitely toward an authoritarian rule.
In conclusion, would you say that the Polish nation was a collaborator to the Nazi crimes?
No, I would put it in a different way. I would say that certain segments of the Polish society took part in the implementation of German genocidal projects.
Professor Grabowski, what are you telling, what are you suggesting, advising the Israeli government, the Israeli people, with regard to the relations with Poland today?
First of all, I would say that you need to have always dialogue open on individual, let's say not governmental perhaps, but individual level of institutions, the social institutions. You need to apply relentless pressure because this part of history, Holocaust, is the only part of history, Polish history too, which belongs to the entire world, and Israeli people have an obligation to intervene in debates like this one. So relentless pressure and probably, as I mentioned, time to give the Polish government time to reflect upon its own mistakes while keeping pressure all the time.
Freezing their relations with the
No, I wouldn't. But once again, it's not my area of expertise. You are asking a humble historian. And I would say putting pressure, sufficient pressure to make Polish authorities, nationalists in power, reflect 3 times before they touch the history of the Holocaust.
Thank you very much, Professor Jan Grabowski.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you.